How's it going, YouTube? I'm xesiontv, and today I'll be bringing you a tutorial on 2v2 gunfight. We'll be talking about settings you should run, how 2v2 gunfight works, and different things you should be thinking about when you go into 2v2 gunfight. Alright guys, so we're going to jump right into the settings tab, and we're going to start with keyboard and mouse. You're going to really want to focus on mouse sensitivity that works for you. Usually a lower is going to be better, so really get in tune. Mouse sensitivity is really what you prefer. Really get in tune with your DPI and your mouse sensitivity, but everything else in the mouse tab, pretty much straightforward. We're going to jump over to the general tab and field of view. Field of view, I usually like mine higher, so fiddle around with it a little bit and see what you like best. Everything else here is pretty much the same. There is FPS. You can check, turn it on if you want to see how many FPS you have. I do recommend, if you don't have a 144 hertz monitor, to look into getting a 144 hertz monitor. Being able to have more FPS and display more FPS is going to help you in the long run a lot. 60 is pretty low, so having that extra bump is going to really help out. Now we're going to move over to the graphics tab. You're going to want to set your refresh rate to whatever your monitor is, and then we're going to move down to the NVIDIA highlights. You can turn this off if you don't plan on using it. It will sometimes it can mess with FPS. I noticed it would take like 1 or 2 away when I had it enabled, so you can disable that if you're not going to be using it at all. I like texture resolution. I put that to normal just because I stream. You can go lower if you so please, but normal gave me a good, kept me capped at 144 frames. Texture filtering, I put this to high. I didn't see it impact FPS that much. Same with particle quality. Particle quality did not mess with FPS too much. Same with bullets. And test, I put this to disabled. Now we're going to move over to shadow map resolution. You're going to put this to low. Cache spot shadows, you're going to disable that. Same with cache sun shadows, you're going to disable that. Particle lighting, I put this to low. I noticed a pretty decent FPS drop when there were explosions going off around me and all of that. DirectX ray tracing, unless you're if you're trying to go competitive, get more wins, you shouldn't be really caring about graphics. So you could turn DirectX ray tracing off, especially if you don't have an RTX card. No need for it. It's just going to be taking up VRAM, and you just don't need that. You don't need it at all. Ambient occlusion, I put this to disabled. Most of the time you're not even going to notice the difference with it out there. Screen space reflection, I put this to low. Anti-aliasing, I put it to Filmic SMAA. It did drop some FPS, but not as much. Or the SMAA 2TX, the FPS drop were about the same, but it was so much better than 1X. So if you have a nicer card, you can go ahead and do that. Depth of field, disabled that. Filmic strength, I put it to 1. World motion blur, disabled. Weapon motion blur, disabled. And Bilgram, set that to 0. And we're gonna move over to the audio tab. A lot of people like different audios. There are some that are better. I usually leave it at studio just because I don't usually have a problem. I love my headset. My headset makes it so I can hear everything, so you put that to whatever you want. Midnight mode's usually better for hearing footsteps. It's gonna tone down all your higher bass stuff, so like explosions and gunshots, but footsteps and everything like that are going to be a little bit louder. So you play around with that a little bit, see what works best for you. Alright guys, so we're going to jump into how 2v2 gunfight works. So it's 2v2 obviously, and then it's scored by health. You don't have health regen. Each person starts off with 100 health. So after, I think it's 40 seconds, a point's going to spawn in the middle. The team with the lowest health is going to have to cap. So playing with a good teammate, someone that you have comms with, is really key, because you can make comms like if you have 81 health and the other guy has 70 health, they have the cap. So you can play that knowing that they have the cap and you don't. But remember, the cap time's very quick, so you really want to be observant of when they're capping and your location to the cap. Now, certain things I like to do is learn the maps. Maps are key. Angles and how your body positions around corners, whatever they're able to see and that you think they can't see. Look into that. Really learn the maps. Learn the guns too. Learning the guns is key, because if you don't know what gun you have and the recoil it's going to have, different guns have different attachments. Learn all that, and you're going to start to gradually get a lot better, because you're going to have the upper hand of knowing what's what and what's going on at a certain time. Now, jumping into rounds. Round one, I usually like to tend to gauge my opponents on how they're going to play. So if I'll usually like peek my lane. So usually all the maps are broken into 3 lanes pretty much, and I like to peek my lane. If I'm not getting pushed on my lane, I'll usually try to push up, or I'll call it to my teammate. We'll double peek, push my lane, or I'll push his lane depending on what they're peeking. And then usually they're not expecting a double peek or whatever it is. But after that gauge, we'll play off of that. If they're not really capable of like defending against like a rush tactic, then we'll just continue to rush. But if they're playing really reserved, just playing spawn, me and my teammate will back up, try to get a couple ticks of health, and then wait for them to have to cap the flag. It's all very situational, understanding, grasping what's what and what's going to be happening from your opponents. So take that into account. Learning when to properly use your utility, your flashbangs, your nades, your mollies. If you have a molly and it's coming down to the point, you could chuck a molly, like it hits the point, chuck a molly in there. They're not going to be able to cap, because a molly's going to tick at them, and then you're already there. Especially when it starts ticking, then you just swing, you got them. Same with smokes. If you have a smoke, I like to smoke off my lane and then I'll push up my lane. So it's all very situational. Learning angles, learning maps, learning the guns. There's a lot of other, it's all, I take into account, like I play a lot of Rainbow Six. So if you've played Rainbow Six, it's a lot of learning angles and how maps work and how guns work and all that good stuff. So take that all into account. Learn. Getting in tune with your sensitivity and different, how much recoil stuff something's gonna have, that's really gonna help you out in the long run too. So just really, like I said before, it's all about learning the maps, the guns. That's how you're gonna improve a lot. So take all of that into account. It's gonna make you a better player. Coming up with a consistent teammate that's gonna calm with you, someone that's gonna be able to give you comms. Come up with your own comms, if you have to, upper mid, like, come up with what works for you guys and designating where someone's going to be. Alright guys, if you did enjoy the video, please hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date on all the latest and greatest content. Leave a like, put a comment down below on what you think our next video should be about. And I do stream from twitch.tv/xesiontv Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays at 6 PST. So come join in, watch us frag, leave some comments on what some things you'd like answered. I'd be happy to answer them. So y'all have a great day and peace.